Disgrace.
Disgrace is backstage.
Oh. Hey, Disgrace.
Going on backstage.
Wait, are you guys going to run for it? And let them know?
Yeah.
Arnold's backstage. Oh. No, you know, like, wait, Yankee, come on. When, like, you guys finish, you can't just walk back here. You have to go through the back door. And then it's come from here. Alright, let's reverse. Okay, can we just go with that last line then? Yeah. And then Lex will go off. You go.
I hope he's alright. I really do.
Spaces are not only physical spaces, there are metaphorical spaces, right? They are poetic, they are lyrical.
Scene finished, the light, it went black out. Light will go back up again, rush to the front of the stage, all of you, including Invisible Jenna.
Okay, so
very fun.
We think of a room as being kind of all those, like inside of a cube or something, but also so is a traditional understanding of how you look at a painting, like it's a window into a world. You know, I don't think it's ever truly been the goal of a painter to make a painting so you're fooling, you know, like it's like you're actually the experience of looking out a window. But it, you know, the picture plane is very important to a painter, the surface, and it has its own kind of music to it because it's a bunch of marks on the surface. That's all it is. You know, it's all Kandinsky's trying to do. But then it does very much move you into a space at the same time, and it's a wonderful tension between the flat marks and the space. You know, it's doing two things at once, and that's what painting is kind of about, is trying to put these opposite forces together. But I very much talk about, you know, painting being like a room in another space, and it has a lot of laws and kind of feelings that relate to our natural, the world we live in, but it's also its own kind of animal, and it has these other kind of laws.
As I train my actors, I have to think of the space, and that's why we have scene designers and costume designers and lighting designers to define that space as a metaphor so that it exists there as a physical space for the actors to pursue their action. But once the actors are on that space, they are not the only performers. The space performs with them. Its physical body is the set design, and sometimes the set design also can move, and if it does not move, lighting assists it in movement and costume. And same thing with costume design, right? The costumes that you put on the people who will then enter the space redefine that space.
When I think of rooms, I think of contained spaces within buildings. And I think one of the things that's really interesting for me personally about studying the built environment, so spaces, structures, topography, all of that, is that I see the built environment, built structures, as not just being sort of the passive backdrop for what we do. I mean, sure, a lot of the buildings that we walk through, we walk past them, they're just the framework, they're the background. But in so many ways, these buildings also actively shape what we're doing, often in ways that we're not even aware of, but they are. Buildings nudge us, right? They nudge us to move in certain ways. Right? Where are the exits and the entrances to the building, for instance? You can only get in a certain number of ways. So they nudge us to move in certain ways, and they nudge us to interact with other people in certain ways, and they nudge us to behave in certain ways. It really is a participant in how we live our lives.
And we certainly have transformed this Molitor Theater with the scent and look, visual and oral, and all kinds of sensory transformations by making this a space so unique.
The dialectic between, it's very Hegelian in the sense that the audience comes in from their various spaces. They're dressed in, depending on their socio-economic standing. They sit in the theater, which is divided into two spaces, at least the performance space for the actors and their own audience performance space, right? because you could have a Renaissance play, a Shakespearean play on the stage, but then the audience can be in an exterior of a park.
Do you think your employers have been fair with you? Well, in my behalf, yes.
Thinking about writing a play, the foothills of the Acropolis, looking up and seeing the gleaming marble architecture, it makes you think about the processes behind creation of literature, of philosophy, of music in a very different way.
A painter to me is not, for me, an idea person, but someone who naturally responds to looking at something, is excited about looking at something, and wants to respond to it, to make some marks that try to capture some of that in some way.
This painter named George Nick, who's a kind of contemporary painter now, said something like, don't you have to be happy to paint? And that sort of made me think like, well, geez, am I happy, you know? Am I happy enough to be able to do this? Like, I need to do my homework, I need to do my chemistry homework so I can go out and do this, so I can make progress. I need to, you know, do all of my work in all of the other aspects of my life, you know. So when I get out there, I'm not like overwhelmed with stress about, you know, my mind's not, you know, on this paper that I have to write. I'm here and I'm painting. Yeah, and yeah.
Millington. You've watched this, you've had a class in Millington. You know exactly what it feels like. Sit in that chair. I'm doing what I can to not play Hearthstone. Dude, everyone has a class. I have had 4 classes. Spread my ashes and those and that's all I ever.
I'm ready for Millington.
Millington
to come down.
deserves
Morton deserves
destruction.
better.
Like, for what it's done to my soul.
What is it?
For what it's done to my working memory.